All right, let's jump right in. Today we're diving deep into the South Sydney Rabbitohs, one of Australia's most legendary rugby league clubs.
Yeah, they're iconic.
We'll be uncovering their journey from their very beginnings all the way through to modern times.
Their story is incredible, and it really reflects the development of rugby league itself in Australia.
Exactly. And we'll be using excerpts from this awesome essay, The Influence of South Sydney Rabbitohs on Rugby League, to guide our discussion.
It's a fascinating read.
It really is, and it's got everything. Passion, drama, near-death experiences, and a comeback story that's worthy of, well, a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, especially fitting with Russell Crowe's involvement.
Right. Now, for those who might not be as familiar with rugby league,
It's a great sport.
oh, it absolutely is. Fast-paced, full contact, 13 players on each side.
Think of it like a blend of rugby union and American football.
Exactly. So the Rabbitohs, they were one of the founding members of the New South Wales Rugby League way back in 1908.
And they made a statement right off the bat, won the very first premiership that year.
Can you imagine? That's a huge accomplishment.
It was. As the essay points out, that win really helped establish rugby league as a contender against rugby union.
It showed Australia that this new sport was here to stay,
It was exciting, it was competitive.
and they just kept winning. Between 1908 and 1932, they snagged 9 premierships, becoming a true dynasty.
Setting the standard for excellence almost a century ago.
It's amazing, but their influence goes way beyond the trophies, right?
Absolutely. You can't talk about the Rabbitohs without talking about their community, Redfern.
That working class neighborhood, yeah.
Many of the players came from similar backgrounds, and that created such a strong bond with the fans.
They weren't just athletes, they were symbols.
Symbols of hope, resilience, for the community.
It's really powerful when you read about it. They became a source of pride for Redfern.
A reflection of the community's values and spirit.
Speaking of values, the Rabbitohs have always been pioneers when it comes to Indigenous representation in the sport.
Yeah, they've had so many Indigenous stars throughout their history, which is
It
incredible.
really speaks to their commitment to inclusivity, long before it was a widespread focus in Australian sports.
They led by example, showing that talent and passion have no boundaries.
It makes them more than just a team. It makes them a force for positive social change.
Absolutely. They were ahead of their time in a lot of ways.
Now, we can't talk about the Rabbitohs without mentioning the Super League War of the 1990s, right?
Oh, that was a wild time.
It almost tore the sport apart, wouldn't you say?
It did. It was a massive power struggle. Rupert Murdoch, the media mogul, wanted to create a breakaway competition called Super League.
It was a huge challenge to the traditional Australian Rugby League.
And the Rabbitohs, sadly, found themselves right in the middle of it.
Yeah, despite their history and dedicated fan base.
They were deemed financially unsustainable and excluded from the newly formed National Rugby League, the NRL, in 1999.
Devastating for the fans, right?
Absolutely. It wasn't just a change in competition.
It felt like a part of their identity was being ripped away.
Exactly. And the essay suggests there might have been political motivations behind it, too.
Oh, really?
Some argue the Rabbitohs were targeted because of their working-class roots and their vocal fan base.
Wow, it's a reminder that even in sports, power dynamics and politics play a role.
They absolutely do.
But the Rabbitohs and their fans, they weren't going down without a fight.
No way.
Thousands of fans took to the streets,
It was incredible.
and the club took legal action to fight for their right to play in the NRL.
Talk about a passionate fan base.
They refused to let their beloved club disappear. And the amazing thing is, they won.
It's truly remarkable. 2002, the courts ruled in favor of the Rabbitohs.
Reinstatement into the NRL, a landmark victory, showcasing the power of fan activism and the spirit of this club.
It's truly inspiring.
But wait, there's more. Get this. In 2006, Russell Crowe, the Oscar-winning actor, steps in to help revive the club.
It sounds like something out of a movie.
It does.
But Crowe was different. He was genuinely passionate about the Rabbitohs and their history.
He and businessman Peter Holmes at court bought a majority stake in the club, brought financial stability, and a lot of global attention.
It was a turning point. He brought in a top-notch coaching staff, attracted star players, and you could feel the energy shift around the club.
And it all led to one of the most incredible comeback stories in sports history. But we'll save that for part 2 of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
It's pretty amazing, how the Rabbitohs story resonates with so many people.
Even those who aren't diehard rugby league fans.
Yeah, exactly. Their journey going from the early days of the sport to almost collapsing, and then that comeback.
It really does speak to something universal, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Resilience, the power of community.
absolutely.
And speaking of those early days, I was struck by how the essay emphasizes their role in shaping rugby league in Australia.
They weren't just playing the game, they were defining it.
Right from the start, they had this style that was fast, aggressive, exciting to watch,
A real contrast to rugby union back then.
which was more structured, almost gentlemanly, right?
Exactly. The Rabbitohs showed why rugby league was a sport for everyone.
A game of raw energy, athleticism,
Anyone could enjoy it.
and all while representing their working class community, Redfern.
That connection is so important to their story.
The essay talks about how many of the players came from similar backgrounds.
It created this unbreakable bond with the fans.
It wasn't just a game, it was a shared experience.
And that's key to understanding their legacy. It wasn't just about winning, it was about representing something bigger.
They embodied the hopes and struggles of their community.
Became a symbol of their strength.
And that resilience was seriously tested during the Super League War.
Oh, absolutely.
To think a club with that history, that fan base, was almost wiped out.
It's hard to believe.
Shows the power dynamics at play back then.
It was a battle for control of the entire sport.
And the Rabbitohs got caught in the crossfire.
The decision to expel them was met with so much resistance, not just from fans, but from people across the sport.
People recognized the injustice of it.
They did.
And that fight to be reinstated, that's where you see the true spirit of the Rabbitohs.
And their supporters, yeah.
It was David versus Goliath,
And they won.
against all odds. What a victory. It sent a powerful message.
That even facing immense pressure, powerful forces.
What, the heart of a community can't be extinguished.
It goes beyond sports, that's for sure.
Okay, but we can't forget Russell Crowe.
Right, the Hollywood A-lister.
He comes in, pours his heart and soul into the club.
Not to mention his wallet. It's like a movie.
It really is. And his passion was genuine.
Oh, yeah, you could see it. His connection with the players, the fans, it was real.
And it led to that incredible moment in 2014.
Their premiership.
After 43 years, the image of Sam Burgess playing with a fractured cheekbone,
It's legendary.
the dedication, the willpower.
That's what the Rabbitohs represent.
Mhm.
Courage, determination, spirit.
It was a victory that went beyond sport.
A testament to belief, to a community united.
Gives you goosebumps, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And their legacy continues to inspire today.
They've been at the forefront of so many important issues, from player rights to Indigenous representation.
They're more than just a team.
A force for positive change, using their platform for good.
It's a legacy that goes way beyond the wins and losses.
It's about the impact, the sense of belonging they foster.
Makes you wonder what other teams have managed to achieve that,
It's remarkable how they've kept that connection with their community.
even as the sport has become more commercialized.
They've stayed true to their roots.
So what stands out to you as the most defining aspect of their legacy?
That's a tough one.
Their resilience, their commitment to social justice.
It's hard to choose, it's all intertwined, but I think it's their belief in the power of community.
They've shown that when people come together with passion, belief,
Extraordinary things can happen.
it's a reminder that even facing huge challenges,
The human spirit can triumph.
their story goes beyond sport. It's about resilience, unity, community.
It's been an incredible journey.
It's incredible when you think about it. The highs and lows the Rabbitohs have gone through.
It's really a captivating story, inspiring too.
From their start to almost disappearing, that comeback, wow.
Yeah, definitely.
But as we wrap this up, I think it's important to look at what their legacy means, not just for rugby league.
But for sports, for society, the whole picture.
I agree, and you know what struck me? How the Rabbitohs go beyond just one sport.
Right. It's about that human need to connect, belong, have a purpose together.
They show that a team can become something so much bigger.
Reflecting a community's hopes, dreams, struggles.
And that working class connection to Redfern that really came through in the essay.
Absolutely.
They weren't just playing for a trophy.
No, they represented their people, a community that had its own ups and downs.
Exactly, and they never hid from that working class background.
They owned it.
Their style of play, the grit, the determination,
And mirrored their community.
and that created a bond with fans that went beyond winning or losing.
Shared values, shared experiences, a shared identity.
And that bond, man, you really saw it during the Super League War.
When they were almost erased.
Imagine that. Your team, your symbol, gone.
It was a fight for their identity.
Those fans taking to the streets. Wow, that says something.
It shows how deeply people connect with a team. It wasn't just a game anymore.
And they won that fight. which is still inspiring today.
Definitely.
But even beyond that, they've always pushed for social justice, for inclusivity.
Their support for Indigenous representation is remarkable.
It is. They were ahead of their time there, recognizing diversity,
Giving everyone a chance to play.
setting an example for other clubs, other sports.
They really did.
So thinking about the South Sydney Rabbitohs, it's obvious their impact goes way past the field.
They're a force for good, for resilience, for social progress.
They've changed Australian sports culture, no question.
Absolutely.
Their story reminds us that sport can unite people, inspire hope.
It can challenge what's accepted, you know?
They've shown success isn't just about trophies.
It's about the impact you have, the lives you touched.
Wow, what a journey it's been exploring the Rabbitohs.
Incredible story.
Their triumphs, their struggles, their spirit, that connection with their community.
It's been fascinating.
And now, we want to hear from you. What stuck with you most about their story? What can we learn from them? Share your thoughts, and until next time, keep on diving deep.